Sit down. Thank you. All right. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I appreciate it. The reason I have you here is because we're going to participate in a book study. This is for one of my classes at Concord. We're required to lead a book study about content literacy. Okay. Right, I'm not going to do it now, but I will tell you what book we are going to read later in our study. But this book is a book that will not only give you ideas on how to approach reading, but can also help you develop better readers in your own classroom. So hopefully, once we're done with this book, each teacher here will, have different ideas and approaches on how to develop better readers. As fourth grade teachers, you probably are always looking for a better idea and ways to help students who are struggling to read, or those students that might not read in front of class because they're too embarrassed, or they read too slow, or they don't want to get made fun of. So this book will give you different ideas on how to approach those students to help them become better readers to read out loud. This book will help address all those worries. This study is for us. However, it can be open to all different teachers in the building who feel they might need other ways to help teach reading. If you talk to anyone of your colleagues and they want to join our book study, let me know and we'll add them to our group later on. We will be meeting occasionally throughout this 3-week period to go over what we read and discuss the different strategies. For this book study, I will be the leader. If you have any questions about the book or our meetings, just give me a call and let me know. During our next meetings, we will try to have meaningful discussions about the different questions and areas of the book. My hope is to have each of you participate and give your opinions about the topics that are up for discussion. Have any questions so far?
None so far.
Okay. All right. So even though this book is an assignment of mine, this is a great opportunity to become more knowledgeable on the content literacy and learn about different ways to help your students become better readers. Okay, the book that I did choose for us to dive into is called Who's Doing the Work? How to Say Less So Readers Can Do More. Okay, let's see, the authors of this book is Jane Birkins and Kim Yaris. I do not have a hard copy of the book. However, I did purchase the book off of Amazon so that we can download it to our iPads after the meeting today. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, can you shut the door so nobody comes in here? Thank you. All right. So the reason I chose this book for us to read and discuss is because the book explores how some of the traditional practices that teachers that teachers may use may actually be robbing some of the students of important learning opportunities and independence. So can you just, for discussion purposes, can you give some examples of some of the different strategies you may use to help students who are reading or struggling to read? What do you think?
All right. Some of the things that I do in my classroom is I have them preview the academic vocabulary that appears in the text that they're going to read. That way they can get more familiar with unknown words.
Mm-hmm.
As they're reading, I will ask guided comprehension questions to see if they are taking in the meaning of what's being read. And if they can't answer the questions, then we need to go back and reread, which is another strategy. If they're not understanding the comprehension, you need to reread it to see if you can get more out of it. Whenever students aren't strong readers and they struggle with fluency, I'll do echo reading, where I will read it using fluency and they will just repeat me. and that seems to help too. And another thing that I like to do is I like to partner a strong reader with a struggling reader. That way the strong reader is modeling good reading strategies, and the struggling student can pick up on it.
Okay. All right, those are good. Some of those will come up throughout the book. This book does, though, however, it will suggest different ways to make small but powerful adjustments that hold the students accountable for their own learning. What the authors are trying to do here is they're trying to get students to not look for the teacher, not look to the teacher to help with certain aspects of reading. They want them to do it on their own, which will make them better readers as they go on. So for example, I do have a question. Have you ever had a student read aloud in class and stumble on a word and not know the word? You know, I'm sure you have, because I'm sure we all have. Okay, well, have you ever just said, all right, and told them that word, or guided that student to pronounce that word right, you know, whether it be a long word or whatever? You know, just guide them towards that word when they encounter one of those difficult words. That's what I used to do. Is I used to, you know, try to sound it out with them. So the authors of this book, they want us to examine ways for students to use their strategies that they've been taught independently, rather than the teachers leading them, and rather than them leading or depending on us for support to help them read. We need to question the ways that our scaffolding is being used, and question how our scaffolding is getting in the way of their student success. You know, sometimes they may want to, they may stumble on a word and we pronounce it for them, and they may get embarrassed, or they just break down altogether and not want to read anymore or something. So, you know, we just have to, you know, make sure that us as teachers, you know, get through it, but get so that they can do it by themselves. That's what we want to, that's what all teachers want to do. And the authors of this book, they want these students to be able to read, you know, as they get older, read on their own using the strategies that we have taught them, and not depending on us to do it for them. Okay. You got any more questions? Anything to add? No? Okay. All right, we'll do this again. We're going to read the first, I'm going to download your books for you, and then we're going to read the first 50 pages of the book. And when we get back together, we'll discuss, you know, what we read and what some of those strategies we can use in our own classrooms. Okay? Easton, can you turn that off for me, buddy? Hit the red button.